So I have a friend, and she's decided to list her home, sell her home, and move to her next place. And honestly, she's been wanting to move for quite some time now, but she put the pause on things like many people have, with the mortgage rates being so unpredictable. Well, at one point it was predictable. They were going up, up, up. And so she thought to herself, Tracy, why would I list my home, get myself excited about my next place? Because who can afford my home with these mortgage rates the way they are? So she put everything on pause. And then she got excited, because she got an epiphany, and she realized as a homeowner right now, she still has a lot of power and control because of the supply and demand. There are so many buyers out there looking for a home, but there are no homes out there for them to purchase. So she realized another great thing is, because there's so few homes out there, if I list my home now, then mine would be one of the few to be selected, which means maybe I can sell my home quicker and get a higher price. And you know what? I think she's right. And if you take a look at this chart that goes over what the projection was from November 2023 and how these forecasters have changed their tune, maybe you'll start to change yours too. Take a look at this, and I want to really look at Zillow, because people think that on the 8th day God created Zillow, and that's like the real estate Bible to so many people. Zillow, if you take a look at this chart, in November of 2023, they only predicted a 0.2% increase in the housing market and appreciation in homes. But then they went back and they reevaluated what they saw, and they've increased their prediction, their forecast, to 3.5%. Now, the National Association of Realtors, they didn't do much better with their prediction. They came in second lowest at 0.7%, and they've changed their tune to almost 2%. So I think what you will see as far as the trends is that what people have predicted at the end of last year seem really abysmal compared to what the new predictions are. So what that means to you, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, this is the time to jump in and get your home listed. This video is for homeowners who have decided to stop putting their lives on hold and are ready to list and sell their homes and move to their next place. We're going to take a look at 5 key steps that will help you get your home sold, including particular places and spaces in your home, ways you can sabotage the sale, and how the buyer can crash the contract and wreck your move. Oh, and I want to hear from you. Which one of these tips, comment below, that you think you're going to approach your sale a little differently? Well, let's begin with how to get your home sold. It's showtime. Now, this is what I ask my sellers to do. Whenever they decide, hey, Tracy, let's list this home, I'm ready to move. When you are a seller, think like the buyer. And I know that you are a do-it-yourself weekend warrior. But this is not the time to experiment. In fact, you may have some unfinished projects that we need to hire someone to complete on a more professional level. Because remember, now we're offering a product that we want someone to pay top dollar for. Oh yes, and just in case you're wondering, people are still receiving multiple offers on some of the homes. Now, that's not like it was a few years ago. We had 50 people fighting for one home. We're not seeing that. But we are seeing places and homes that are selling for multiple offers and at higher prices. And that's what I want to help you get yourself in the position so you can reap all the benefits there are of selling your home right now. Well, let's begin with the things that you really need to do. We're going to talk about staging. We're going to talk about, do we need to do some updating, some upgrades? Do you need a designer? Because we want to set the stage of getting your home sold, and that starts with the lifestyle. Because remember, you're not just selling bedrooms, baths, and square feet. My job is to help you sell the lifestyle of what it would be if that buyer decides to purchase your home. So the first thing we need to do is declutter. That's number one. And this may be a great time to hire a third party. to come in and help you with organizing and decluttering your home. You know, we're going to hold off on the other projects and bringing a stager in because the stager, your designer, can't even see the forest for the trees because sometimes we have so much going on, so many collectibles, so many things that you just had to have when you were at the cash register or checking out. But now, rather than them enhancing the property, it's probably a distraction. So what we want to do is just box it all up. You're moving anyway. So decluttering and organization is one of our top things that we recommend that you do when you get ready to list and sell your home. Because how can the buyer appreciate the space in the home when it feels really cramped because you have so much going on? And remember, I know you know this, people want to imagine themselves in your home, not themselves crowded out by all the things in your home. Really, that's going to wreck the deal. They're not going to want to buy the home because it looks really nice to you. You've become kind of blind to it, but to the buyer, it just looks like junk. So now you're ready for the critical step number 2, and that is to hire a professional stager and to do all of your updates that you may need for your home. And I know what you're thinking, Tracy, please, I watch HGTV. I know exactly what to do for my home. But what I would really encourage you to do is get an objective set of eyes because we become a little blind to our own space and we think it looks great and maybe it does. But the stager can offer you a set of eyes that is, well, more objective and will help you get your space looking in the way it should according to what buyers are wanting to see, not exactly what you want them to see. Could be different. Or like you can have a professional interior designer who came out to your home a few years ago and they made a lot of changes based on what you want, but the stager is able to do a little changing, adjustment, little tweaks to appeal to a broader audience. Because why do you want to keep any segment of our buyers away from purchasing your home just because it's too personalized because you had that interior designer out there to create the perfect space for you? So the stager is very important, whether it doesn't matter the price of the home, because we do realize that it really depends on location and price point of the home, what the buyer expectation is. But regardless of that price point, every buyer expects to move into a nice home. Here are 4 money-making moves to help you improve the sale of your home to get a great return on your investment. Your kitchen, primary suite, believe it or not, the laundry room, and your outdoor space. Now we know that light and bright sells. People love light flowing through the windows, but not every home has the best natural light. So here's some tips that I would have for you. Go ahead and invest in recessed lights in your home. Let's say you have a ceiling fan, because we like our ceiling fans in Texas. We can open up our windows and let air flow in, just give a freshness to the space. But if you have a ceiling fan that has like 4 lights that protrude out of the fan at the bottom, that is dated for one. So you definitely want to just go ahead and spend money to get that updated. But it also has the light going in directions that may not enhance the space. So my recommendation is pay money to get your updated ceiling fan, because we don't want objections from the buyers right out the gate. And you also want to go ahead and get the recessed light, because that will help the lights just flow so beautifully throughout the space. Here's another great tip. Remember, kitchen is that area that will give you a higher rate of return. Update your countertops, update your backsplash. Go for what is trending, but what you can also tolerate. But remember, this home is just a commodity. You're just going to sell it. So what you can tolerate is probably secondary. So get what is in vogue at the time. Backsplashes, okay, if you go with subway tiles, you want to make sure the subway tiles go in the direction of what is trending, because trends change. And trends are very powerful because of the internet. People know what should be in style. And that's really a low cost effect, your counter and your backsplash, to give you maximum return. Seating options in kitchen. The more seating spaces, the better. Now, we don't want to crowd people out. It does need to flow. But people tend to like to hover in kitchens when we show homes, because that's where they really see themselves living their lives. Even if we go to the kitchen first, the showings tend to wrap back around to the kitchen because that's just the hangout place. That is the heartbeat of the home. So we definitely want to make sure we have our improvements there, upgrades there, and even if we have to spend some money, that's one of the best places to spend it, in that kitchen. Here's another great one, very effective and fairly low cost. Go ahead and invest in upgrading your hardware. Your kitchen faucets, the kitchen dials. You won't believe how many people will upgrade the faucet and not the handles. Go ahead and pay a few extra dollars and do the whole set and make sure they match. And go ahead and upgrade your cabinet pulls, your doorknobs throughout the home. Make sure they're on trend. That's a low cost to bring you a greater return. And of course, I know you already know this. Painting will give your whole space a fresh look. And you know, people are moving away from the grays. Don't shoot the messenger. I know you love those grays, but people are moving away from them and going more toward a white tone or a natural tone. Some are doing terracottas. I can't get into that. That's just not my taste. And some are doing some jewel tones. There may be a great opportunity for you to add some really updated wallpaper, maybe on a wall. You might not do the entire room, but powder rooms, many people are choosing to put some really nice wallpaper in those spaces. And you can still use the wood designs on your walls, you know, accent wall. Now, some people are trending away from the shiplap look. To each his own, but I would really hold off on adding that. If you think that's a cool thing to have, just save that for your next space. Another great place to invest some money to make sure it's really spruced up and looks great, this may surprise you, the laundry room. I'm thinking to myself, that is just a place to do laundry. Oh no. Laundry rooms are hot spaces now in homes. So you might want to stage that to where it's more inviting. And you know what? Just go ahead and get a contractor. And if it's not too expensive, you might want to expand it somehow, but you don't want to invest a lot of money because you're not going to stay there. But I'm just letting you know that laundry rooms have become a focal point where people, I don't know, they hang out. Bizarre, right? Comment and let me know if you would hang out in your laundry room, and had you even considered laundry room as being one of the top spaces that people like to, well, enjoy in a home. And your next important space, and some people might consider this the most important space, is the primary suite. And this is the space, no matter the price point, that people want to be able to close the door, relax from the busyness, the loudness, the craziness of the world, and just be able to have peace. And this is where you want to go ahead and let that stager just unleash their talents and take care of the rest. We are talking luxury linen or linen that would enhance the space, your window treatments, the bathroom, the tiles, everything needs to scream peace and relaxation in that primary suite. So that's where you don't want to go cheap. You want to go ahead and get that taken care of, because that is a space that would absolutely help sell your home. And number 3, your important critical step, believe it or not, is deep cleaning the kitchen and the bath. You would be surprised at how many homes I've shown, and they are nice homes, that I have shown and the buyers are totally turned off, because nothing screams gross like a dirty kitchen and a bath. No one wants to imagine you eating in that space, and they certainly don't want to imagine you using the bathrooms. So I don't care if you have to get a toothbrush and start just cleaning out the grout lines. Just make sure that space is sparkling clean and looks very disinfected and just ready for them to move in. Please remove all of your toiletries, remove all the things that don't enhance the space. And number 4, the thing that some people, believe it or not, neglect, but is so important. I mean, it is the gateway to your home, and that's your curb appeal, the front and the backyard. Now, most of you get the front yard right. You know to get the landscaping, fresh mulch, pretty flowers, you know, to make a pop on the porch. You got that down. Some people, you just need to go ahead and let someone take care of that for you. I'm not saying you can't do it yourself, but you're busy doing other things. Now, the area that some people do neglect is the backyard. So your swimming pool, go ahead and get that area staged if you don't already. Let the people imagine enjoying the sparkling swimming pool. Make sure they can enjoy the different seating areas that you have, and go ahead and invest in some seating areas if you don't already have them, because that's where people want to hang out. I get it, we're in Texas. We're not hanging out a lot outside unless there's certain parts of the day, but we love our ceiling fans on our back porches because we want to think we can use the space. We can enjoy the nicely landscaped backyard if we choose to. So we don't want to be a distraction or have the buyer choose another home because your backyard just looks like a desert, or it looks like such a blank canvas, if you know what I mean by that, meaning you have done nothing, that they can imagine using and enjoying that space. So go ahead and invest some money to take care of the front and especially your backyard, because while they're looking through the home, that's one of our last stops is the backyard, and we want to leave that lasting impression. Now, those are the tips that help you prepare for your first showing. Now, these tips will help you enhance the showing once we get the buyers to your home. Number one, please keep your home accessible for showings and available. They're not going to be able to buy your home if they can never see your home. I understand life happens and you may not be able to show your home all the time, but you certainly shouldn't deny showings every time. Number two, remember, light and bright sail. So keep your blinds open, pull the curtains open, allow that natural light to flow in. And I understand your home may be situated where you don't get a lot of natural light. Well, go ahead and turn on your lamps, turn on the overhead lights so that it seems very light in your home. Believe me and trust me, it will make a difference in the experience that your buyer is going to have in your home. Remember, we're creating a lifestyle, so we want to have seating areas situated strategically where your home is inviting. We don't want to create seating areas just for the sake of creating a seating area because we don't want to go back into the clutter, but outside you can have your backyard stage with seating areas, fresh flowers, so people can enjoy it. In your primary suite, if it allows maybe a seating area there, but people like to feel like they have different lounge spaces. And if you have a media room or a game room, make sure that is fully outfitted with a focal point. So if it's a media room, it should look like a media room. If it is a game room, it should look like a game room and not space that's just space that is confusing. So just define those spaces because that gets people tripped up. They have the space, but it's kind of chaotic because it's not really staged to define the space. So don't forget those lofts, media, and your game room. Oh, and the smells. Now, sometimes people get carried away. Every time there's an outlet, they feel like there should be a plug-in of some sort. Well, the buyer's just going to get suspicious and wonder, what are you actually covering up? So we want to go really easy on the extra fragrances. More than likely, they're not enhancing the space. You're almost better off not having any fragrance than having a lot of them hitting the buyer right at once when they hit the door. So my recommendation is don't even have plug-ins. Try to avoid that if you can, and keep in mind, if you have too many, we know something is going on. We don't know if it's pet, we don't know what it is, but there is something you're trying to cover up. So let's remove all questions or objections. We have no mystery smells. Flowers, oh my goodness, you have no idea how much people love fresh, natural flowers and plants, the greenery. Now, notice I said fresh and natural. I did not say silk and artificial. Many times the silk and artificial are dust catchers. So that's not what we're looking for. That's not the good look. Well, congratulations. You prepared your home, you've had showings, and now your home is under contract. Now that's a reason to celebrate. But before we get too excited, let's go over a couple of ways where your contract can be derailed. Well, for one, in the state of Texas, our residential resale contract is very much in favor of protecting the buyer. There's so many ways a buyer can cancel the contract and thereby wreck your move. But sometimes it's not just the buyer. Sometimes you as a homeowner is creating a few problems. And here are some of the common areas that the homeowner, that means you, can cause a delay or wreck the deal. Let's start with one of the most common ones that we find is, do you actually have the right to sell the home? Are you the sole owner? Or are there multiple owners? If you are going through a divorce, remember the state of Texas is community property. It only takes one to buy, but it takes two to sell. Let's say that you have inherited a property. Well, you have to make sure that all the heirs are on board with the sale. You have no idea how many times we are headed to closing and there's a red flag on title because someone has raised their hand to say, I don't give my ownership away. I am not giving anyone the right to sell this home. Talk about a delay. And that delay can cost so much time that it may cause a whole contract to just go up in flames. The second reason that commonly cause a contract to fall out of favor are liens. Now, this is a time where you have to really be honest. And sometimes I know you've forgotten all about it. But if someone has gone unpaid, or if there is a bill unpaid, let's say you hate your HOA, you cannot stand their property owners association. So you've told yourself, I'm not going to pay them. Well, you are now, because they will attach a lien to your property because they're going to know you have your home. I know what you're thinking. How would they know? This is how. Because if you're in an HOA, part of the contract reads that the new buyer is going to get all the information about your subdivision. Well, guess what? When title company contacts HOA to get that information to the buyer, they know you're trying to sell your home. And believe me, they are going to quickly see that you have not made your payment. So that will have to be resolved. And the other thing that we're seeing that's become very popular, but it's a new trend for Texas, are solar panels. So in the contract, there's a little section in there that talks about leases and fixtures. Solar panels are going to be considered a fixture because you're not going to take them down and move them to your next place. Well, this is where it gets hairy, and this is where you want to do your homework up front to make sure it does not cause a delay. If you still owe on those solar panels, well, they need to be paid off at some point. Do not expect your buyer to be able to absorb the cost of your solar panels. So that's become a hot topic. I understand you got them because you're saving on energy, but just don't expect that buyer to pay for that savings. So I hope these tips will help you when you're getting ready to sell your home. Because what better time to sell if you're ready to move than right now? There's some incredible opportunities out there. We still have a supply and demand issue. We've seen on the graph where home values are continuing to rise. So the good news for you is that you are probably situated to where you're going to receive a huge amount of proceeds from the sale of your current home to apply to your next home. Listen, when we sell a home, we're not just selling brick, mortar, bedrooms, baths, square feet. We're selling a lifestyle. So it is my job to make sure that we are conveying a lifestyle that your buyer can actually see themselves living there. So that includes having your home staged. That includes any improvements and updates that need to take place. Because when you have your home for sale, I know that what you expect is your home to sell. You don't expect it to expire. You don't expect your home to be ignored. You don't expect your home to be rejected, which means it didn't sell. So there are a number of things that we want to go over. The pricing of the home, the condition of the home, and hey, guess what? We can't change the location. If you're thinking about selling your home, you have thought out and you've recognized I'm going to just live my life and I'm ready to live it now. Do me a favor, reach out, give me a call, message me, comment below. Let's do a one-on-one. I want to take a look at your home to see how we can get your home ready so you can create your memory at your next place. And let's say you don't live in a Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex. You're getting ready to relocate here, but you have a home to sell out of our metroplex. Let me know. I'd love to connect you with someone that I trust who can do an outstanding job for you so you can get as much money as you can from the proceeds of that sale to purchase your Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex home. Hi, I'm Tracy Sorrell with the DFW Life, and I help homeowners just like you find the special place to create their memories and call home.